Hello, everyone. Professor Tom Berry here, just providing feedback on the Wiki's week one. Woo, man, that was pretty amazing. You guys did amazing work. That was took a long time to process, maybe 2.5, 3 hours for me to go through all the wikis and provide feedback, written feedback. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to streamline this and get great feedback to you. Let me kind of provide feedback for today, and then near the end of this video, I'll share with you kind of like moving forward. I provided written feedback to each group. So you should have received, if you go into Gradebook, you should be able to click on week one wiki. It's on the far left-hand side of the Gradebook column. You should be able to click on there and get to the written feedback. If you have a problem, can't get to it, let me know. I'll work with you to be able to get to that feedback. You'll notice that near the right end of the gradebook, you'll see a column down there too about the wiki first half of the term at a 0 grade. So it's just kind of like the way I have to set it up in Gradebook this way. So I can give you a weekly grade for your wiki. I create a separate grade column, wiki week 1, wiki week 2, et cetera, all the way throughout the course of the term. And I'll keep those on the left-hand side of the gradebook. And then on the right-hand side, you'll see wiki first half of the term, 0 points. I just have to, it does that in order to create groups. So anyway, that's just so you know what's going on there. Overall, great connections to talking about sociology, the sociological perspective. If you didn't include information on the social perspective, points were deducted for that. Or if you needed more detail on your explanation of a social perspective, points were taken deducted for that as well. Basically, social, looking at the interaction between individuals, groups, and society. So looking at that, the connections between the individual, the experience, the human experience, and larger cultural, social kind of things that are going on. So it's that interaction between the two. Some of you did incorporate a lot of cool stuff into your description of the social perspective, thinking about C. Wright Mills' sociological imagination. Somebody brought up the beginner's mind, thinking about trying to approach thinking about the world through fresh lens, through a perspective of removing our own filters, our cultural filters and biases, and see things more objectively. We can never see things with a sense of truth or 100% accuracy, but it's being able to see things more clearly. And then in terms of application to happiness, some great, basic ideas, some great communications or great posts were made there. Happiness is a team sport. The American dream can become a challenge. So this is really important to sort of think about it this way, that there's a lot of evidence and research to support this position, that economic stability and a certain level of economic resources is necessary to create a stable social system and to increase overall well-being of individuals in society itself. And those indicators of well-being could range from happiness to drug use rates, to crime rates, to mental health, to a lot of different social factors. So some base level of economic security is needed, but after a certain point, additional economic resources are not valuable. They don't add to overall well-being and happiness. In fact, you get too stratified in terms of a system, you create too much status differentiation between different groups, you create actually greater disconnection, greater anxiety, frustration, impacts on mental health, impacts on community, division, separation, all kinds of factors that are related to this sort of, expanded economic top versus the bottom kind of thing. So we need to have a sense of sharedness, a sense of community is important for overall well-being. One person made a comment about looking at the Marxist perspective. I thought it was interesting. You could look at functionalism, or two people made a connection between functionalism and conflict theory and thinking about happiness. Both theories would be looking for how do we generate greater stability. The word stability is more often associated with functionalism, but for conflict theory, it'd be interested in creating a stable, well-functioning social order as well. A conflict theory analysis is going to look at how unregulated capitalism, if we give too much power to those that are in wealth, that have the wealth in society, the ruling class, that there's too many resources provided to them, that there leads to class division, race division, division between different groups. That creates an environment where overall community well-being and happiness goes down. The viewpoint from a conflict theory perspective is to address that, we have to require, mandate, we have to regulate industry, as well as, taxes and things like this, in order to create a more even playing field for more people. Functionalism looks at stability as well as looking at community, structure of community. How do we sort of think about institutions and their roles in terms of providing that structure and stability? One group mentioned that, or one person mentioned charitable acts, about the impact of charitable acts on overall happiness. That when people, sometimes when they give, they feel like they're being responsible to the community in which they live in. They're connected to social issues and people in the community, and it can have a valuable kind of impact on that. Yeah, okay, so overall, nice connections there. It's a good illustration, of the sociological perspective, to think about something as personal as happiness and related to larger social cultural factors. I guess one last comment, mental health. A couple of you mentioned mental health as far as being a condition for happiness. No argument there, but the kind of the question that starts to raise is like, well, what shapes our mental health though? Our mental well-being and our mental health is a social force thing. It's not physiological alone in terms of individual biology, individual neurology and physiology. Individuals take place within a context. So it's that context piece is really important. Okay, so for future wikis, so title them your name and then wiki week number X. Okay, it's going to be easier to everybody keep track of things that way. So for me, it'd be like Tom Wiki week 1, Tom Wiki week 2. And then every time you create a thread, name it for, wiki week, whatever. So put your name in there, the week number, or the wiki, and then the week number. Make sure that, so feedback's 10 points, the post is 15. 15 points for sufficiently detailed post, 10 points for feedback to most group members, okay? So if you miss one, that's fine. This 2, starts becoming a little bit more questionable. I'm looking overall at the general impression. So if you provided a lot of good feedback on 1 or 2, but less on the others, that's fine. Just some balance in between the 2. It gets kind of repetitive maybe, so try to, you don't feel like you have to repeat everything, but you need to have at least one really substantial kind of response, or spread that out across the group members and respond to most of the group members. Posts are due Thursday night by midnight. If you get on there Friday morning and there's only one person who had made a post, you're only responsible to providing feedback to that one person. If people make posts after Thursday night and you got on there and you're on Friday, they start making them on Saturday, Sunday, you're not accountable to that, because your grade should not be contingent upon whether or not somebody turned in work after the due date. -5 points for turning in a post after the due date. So keep aware of that as well. I think that's it for now. If you have any questions on your grade, let me know individually. I think in the future, what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide this sort of look over everybody's feedback or their posts and their feedback. Rather than sending an individual comments, I think I'm going to provide these videos. I can provide more information this way, more perspective, and I think it actually more valuable this way. And then I'm going to leave it up to you. So I'll have a grade for each one of those. And then if you're like, man, things just aren't, I don't get it, why am I not getting a full score? You let me know, and I will be more than happy to walk you through that. If there's a major disruption, like something going on, like, oh man, somebody's off, I will send you an individual email. Other than that, though, I'm here for you as a resource. Let me know. I'm here for you regarding any assignment in the class. Keep me posted. I wish you well. Have a great day. Look forward to your wikis next week.